Greetings and welcome. This is Psychic Medium Roberto, and I truly hope you're doing well today. Just a quick note to all the new subscribers, recently subscribed. Thank you so much. You are appreciated, and thank you for participating in the chats. It's really amazing to see how everyone is engaging. That is amazing, and that is the purpose. Let's keep the stories alive. All right, trigger warning. The subject matter is of a mature nature and deals with true crime events. All cases are treated as alleged until proven in a court of law. So I'm going to be looking at the cold case of Hailey Dunn. All right. She had gone missing on December the 27th. This is 2 days after Christmas, during the time where families should be enjoying their family, friends, and connecting after the end of a year. And instead, we have a young girl that was murdered because we know, unfortunately, that she was discovered on March 16, 2023. Now, that date coincides with the arrest date of the mother's boyfriend at the time, which is, here's a family photograph. Now, when I looked at this photograph, so before I talk about this photograph, I've watched one video. I believe it was a 60-minute episode on YouTube with the mom talking about the situation with the daughter and the ex-boyfriend. And when I look at this picture, I mean, I'm just saying, the mom herself looks young herself. Okay. Then subsequently, the charges were dropped against the boyfriend in June 26, 23. I believe he served 2 years and was released. And I believe the issue is not enough evidence to convict him, which I also find strange, considering, based on reports, his cell phone pinged at the address where Hailey supposedly went missing. And the reason why that's important is because he was meant to be at work that morning of December the 27th. And eyewitnesses say that he was at work for like an hour, like 5 in the morning or whatever it was, and then left. And then there's also an eyewitness that puts him in the house in the morning as well. So I don't know how much evidence the police need. And then subsequently, during an interview, they asked where would they find Hailey, and he actually said the exact location where they would find her. They also pinged his phone at that location on that day, December 27. So I don't know what other evidence they need, or is there something else going on here? So I'm just going to look at the events leading up to the situation. Now, just getting back to this photograph. Now, I'm just saying that the mom looks very young in this photograph as well. And of course, 20 years later, she has aged, obviously, but I'm just saying, and I'm not body shaming or anything, but you can see the stress and the anguish and the pain in her face, the mom. Just to clear some other background information before we get going, is that the mom, and this is, look, we're talking 13 years ago and people change. Some people change. And the mom and boyfriend were heavy into narcotics, alcohol. Apparently, they even had a New Year's party like 2 or 3 days after Hailey had gone missing. Now, on the surface level, it looks like a clean and cut case. However, I don't believe that is necessarily the case. And of course, the mother was pleading her innocence in the interview. Sorry for the long intro, but it's very relevant in what I'm about to get into. The mom, when she did a polygraph test, came back as, what's the word? Let's just use suspicious. There were some answers where she was being deceptive. So in other words, she wasn't telling the whole truth. And of course, again, and of course it's not admissible in court, but the boyfriend failed the polygraph test. And in fact, missed the first one or two. So I believe we have a situation here, and this is not right or fair to Hailey, because a parent's neglect and abuse, whether it's drinking, heavily drinking, narcotics around, and you got a young teenage girl in the house, in my opinion, is completely unacceptable. So let's have a look here. So let's start with December the 27th, last seen. Now, I'm just going to point out numbers, so we'll do a bit of a profile here because it's so obvious. But I think there's more to the story as well than just the boyfriend committing a heinous crime. And I've just been reminded again, there's one other piece of information. Both parties, the mom and the boyfriend, when they checked their computers, they were fixated and fascinated with serial killers. Which is quite interesting because we have the 16-7 around here as well. Okay. All right, so December the 27th is the last seen day. And the red flags are 27-9. And that speaks to premeditation. So in my opinion, the boyfriend of the mother, which can actually be an older brother to the daughter, left work intentionally on that morning. So definitely 27-9 confirms the premeditation. And we'll look at the other numbers because there must be confirmation of this. We also note the triple threes from 2010, the 3, and then we get the 3 from the day and the month. So again, we've got too many 3s, and unfortunately a 3 is a common number you will find in femicide and crimes against women, gender-based violence. You'll always find the 3s: control, abuse, manipulation, and those 3s are normally brought about by males, male perpetrators committing crimes against women. 3 is the number that represents woman or female or feminine energy. So unfortunately, we do have a 15-6 outcome day, which is not a nice number in a crime like this. Men behaving badly. And there are a number of pointers both in discovery days as well as the crime sequence where we see 15-6 perversion and 24-6. So the male that committed this crime is without a doubt known, familiar to the family. All right, so that's the day that she went missing. So if we look the next 3 days to understand what was happening here, I'm going to first go to December 30, the time when the mom and young boyfriend were all having a nice party while her daughter lay in a ditch. So that for me already, that action and behavior is problematic. And one of the reasons why I pulled out these dates is to determine, was the mother involved or was the mother aware of the situation? And the answer is a yes. A yes, without a shadow of a doubt. Now, let's look at December 30. And I will also just say, aware of abuses going on in the house as well. So I can accept the point people will change, but that change only came about as a result of the murder of her daughter, not because she wanted to change. Sorry, I'm being a bit harsh. But you've got a vulnerable teenager, not even a teenager, she's just turned 12, 13, in the household with 2 drug addicts and alcoholics, and she pleads innocent 20 years later. So December 30, we have a massive explosion of 3s. There are 4 3s here. And let me tell you, you don't get to see this often. There were more than just him involved. There's more than him involved. And we'll go deeper because I have a theory. But I will draw your attention to 30 with an outcome 3 on December 30. This is not just about Hailey here. There's more going on. We also note the presence of the 15-6, that's the dirty older male. Now, what's disturbing, but also very interesting, and I'll underline it because this is relevant, is we see the 42-6. 4-2-6. Now, the reason why this is important, and I'm just going to find one here quickly that's appropriate to show you. So if you look at the March 15 on the top, on the discovery sequence, you will note the 24-6. And we'll get into that because that's already alerting us that there's a familiar 24-6 family, familiar 15-6 male. Now, when you get a 4-2-6, it's a reversal, if you like. Right? So what we have here with the 4-2-6, so 2-4-6 in progression is building, creating a family, building, family. But when you have the 4-2-6, it's breaking down that family. So in my opinion, and this is why I looked, this was known to both adults in the house. I mean, she can sit there now 20 years later, and I know I'm being a bit harsh, but she can sit there 20 years later and say, yeah, this should have been done, but what were your actions at the time? Because you were already a mother for 12 years. And the outcome 89 is murder. 89, so we see all the numbers here in play. It's almost obvious, but I'm looking to see, was there anyone else involved? And in particular, was the mom involved? So 2 big numbers worth noting in the last scene until December 30 sequence, and that is we have The day after, December 28, 44, males. Male energy, males, plural. Then December 30, we also see 33, that's females, more than one. So if Hailey is the feminine energy in the sequence, there's more than one female involved here because of the 33. So to prove the theory or to see how involved the mom was, we need to look at what happens before the December 27. Now, according to reports, Hailey did not have a pleasant life in that household. You can imagine drugs, alcohol is the focus. We note on, let me just see here, December 20, let's go to December 24. So December 24, we're in the right spirit, 24-6. There's another 24-6 there. Family time. And we've got 3 threes. Oof, we've got a mass of threes here as well. Things are not good in this household, unfortunately, for Hailey. And this is the unfortunate thing with kids growing up with parents with addictions. And all right, so there we've got a mass of threes as well here. This is not good. A lot of abuse. So when you get a situation with a lot of threes, abuse, manipulation, torment, even trapped, captivity, controlled to the nth degree by adults. This household is not healthy. And I know I'm kind of repeating the obvious here, but I'm showing you in the numbers that the situation in this house is not good. December 24, we also see the 36-9 there. So for me, the 36-9 is also murder. It alludes to, so not necessarily we can say the act of murder, but the issue that with the 36-9 in the murder context also speaks about more than one. It also speaks about feminine energy being, so 3 feminine energy, 6 is a very aggressive, horrible number, violent, with an outcome 9. And I'm just wondering, we all enjoy true crime, but there's also a point where, becoming fanatical, and then like Mr. Kuberger, Mr. Clever's killer, I almost said serial killer, because there is that possibility as well. That want to mimic serial killers and mimic famous murderers. All right, so that speaks to a lot of psychological depravity there. So what do we have in this household? We got the constant flow of alcohol, booze, and drugs. Then on top of that, you got 2 young adults who are fixated and obsessed with murder and murders. So December 25, it's Christmas time in the Dunn household. Now, for me, something happens here on the December 25 that I believe triggers off the event that take place on December 27. And I'm also just going to put an asterisk there because I believe something happened the night before as well. So let's just go to December 25. We've got that 3710-1. Sure, BK is pinging on me today. Now, 3710-1, and I mentioned this in the Kuhberger case. You've got like a little group of people who are, in their minds, this pack of killers. So this is very present. It's already in play in the house, 3710-1, with a 44 outcome. That's male. Male domination here. And unfortunately, we also have the 13-4, which is a child. December 26. Now, I believe something happens on December 30. And, I'm using mainly numerology here. And unfortunately, I'm not prepared to go fully psychically into the situation because what I can see here already, I'm not prepared to have a look at that. Least to say that this child grew up in a very, very abusive, neglectful. No child should experience this. So December 26, what alerts me to an issue, and I'm going to mark it orange now. 26-8 is there's an argument fight, like a serious fight happening in the house. And this whole time we have these massive threes. Then December 26, we have the 38-11-2. I'm also going to mark that as an orange flag here because now you'll recall the 3-7-10-1, right? Murder in the mind. When you get to 3-8, is that same group is now talking about it and making decisions, 11-2. And here is one of the most horrific numbers in sequences like this. 41-5 is the same as 41-5 is the same as 42-6. It's a destruction of the community. It's a destruction number. And because there's a 4-1, the 4 is anatomy. This body, physical. And with the 14-5 outcome on that day, older men, younger girls situation. Now you're telling me the mom is either passed out or drunk or something, but all of this is happening in the house. December 27, we've discussed, but now we see 27-9, premeditation. So December 25, we've got a 37. There's talking about thinking of murder. December 26, now communicating with the 8, 3, 8, 8, communicating about their wishes. More than one person, more than one adult. So we know the outcome. So these are all the red flags in the situation. And particularly I wanted to see if the mom was involved and who else was involved. Definitely involved and definitely of knowledge. There's too many threes around. So feminine energy all around and abuse. So I think there was some kind of issue on December 25 where there might have been some issue between her and him, the adults, Hailey's mom and Hailey's mom's boyfriend, or the mom's boyfriend. So not very nice. If we look at the discovered sequence, so she was discovered on March 16, 3 years later, right? We've got a mass of sevens here in justice. Now the 16-7 is the serial killer number. So on the day, March 16, 2013, we have a serial killer number. We have a 19-10-1, which is about murder. The decision to commit murder, 19-10-1. 9 is the murder. And we have another 16-7, so we've got a double 16-7. So these guys, in their drugged up, boozed haze, got it in their minds that they're going to be Bonnie and Clyde serial killers, in my opinion. And why not get rid of the one thing that's tying me down that I can't enjoy my life even more? Terrible, terrible thought, eh? The day before. So the discovered date will also reveal information for us because from a numerology point of view, so let's just, I believe I mentioned this in one previous video, but let's say it here again. So the significance of March 16, now from a numerology point of view, it is important to know the energy from us being on this planet still exists. So a very basic example, here I am talking about Hailey, right? Effectively 14 years after she passed, and her energy is still around. Now, having a key date in the sequence of Hailey Dunn's life, because now this is where they discovered her, still plays a significant role. So here's the other number I was looking for. March 17, we have the presence of 22. So this is going to be a second confirmation for me, a second confirmation that the mom was involved. 22 is the mom. Let's just say 22 is a number that represents mother as well. 22 can also speak about pregnancy. But in this case, it's mom. 26-8, there's that 26-8 arguments. This all came down, I believe, between December 25 and December 26, something went wrong in this household that triggered off these events. And apparently, Hailey's mom's real father, biological father, who lives in the area and in fact across the way, was horrified to see people arriving with beers and all sorts of things for New Year's party. So you're telling me the mom wasn't involved? That a mother of a 13-year-old girl has a party while her daughter is in a ditch. And 20 years later, pleading innocence. I don't think so. sorry to say. Now, if we look at the day the charges were dropped, June 26, 2023. Again, we have the presence of the 26-8. These are no coincidences here. These are no coincidences here. This is the beautiful thing about numerology. You can tell me whatever you want, I don't care. Let me look at the numbers. I'm just trying to, where's that? Oh, there. All right, so 26-8 is a common theme. So there's definitely violence and anger within the home. Definitely. We have the presence of the 32-5 destruction and the 14-5 males behaving badly, older males, younger girls. And again, we have the 39-12-3. Now look at that. I'm actually going to put a block around here. 39-12-3 is present on the day of her disappearance. Now, I haven't gone deeper into the reasons. I mean, according to the police, there's circumstantial evidence, right? And I suppose the other partner wasn't really cooperating either, because by fault, she's implicated as well. Or by default, she's implicated as well, isn't it? But there's no coincidence here. 39-12-3 is about control, murder. The 39-12-3 also confirms a collective murder. 3, community, group, small group. 9, the murder. 39-12-3 talks about a collective murder. And I will even go as far as to say more than 2 adults. And present on the day of Hailey's murder. (21-3) against her will. Pigs, eh? So, in my mind, of course, not only was the boyfriend involved, but the mother, in my opinion, is an accomplice to the crime. And she would have been aware of the abuses happening within the household. And these wannabe serial killers, and this pings on the Samantha Murphy case, where I believe you have this young gun who wants to be a serial killer. Wow, that's something to strive for in life, right? Well, that's what drugs and alcohol will do to your brain cells. Everything in moderation, but these guys were partying hard, drugs were hard, abuse was happening. Okay. So, to do a wrap-up here, I certainly believe mom was complicit or aware of the situation. I've just been, it comes to me again. I mean, there's trouble in the home. The mom is aware of the trouble in the home, but she kind of ignores it because it's much more fun being with the boyfriend and with friends and drinking. And the responsibility, at least she doesn't have responsibilities anymore. So, sorry to say, the mom should have been arrested here as well. All right, let me know what your thoughts are, what your comments are. This is a really sad case here. The children don't need to grow up in a household like this. Or at least the parents should change their ways. All right, let me know what your thoughts are, what your comments are, and I'll see you in the next one. Stay safe, stay alert. Bye for now.